that's the caldera of a volcano. Like this Yellowstone thing, we thought it was just this crazy place with hot springs. Like, no, that's a super volcano that is a continent killer.
Deep within the heart of Yellowstone, a recent revelation has set the scientific community on edge. A massive dome-shaped uplift has been discovered to be steadily expanding with each passing day. But this alarming enigma doesn't stop there. The tranquil waters of Yellowstone Lakes are likewise showing terrifying shifts in their levels, as a mysterious 100-foot-long crack has split the earth open, raising eyebrows among researchers. Joe Rogan, in one of his recent podcasts, delved into the heart of this puzzling occurrence.
Supervolcano would kill almost all of us. The Yellowstone supervolcano, it's a caldera volcano.
Why are these shocking events unfolding at this very time? What elements could be behind these geological events? And could this sleeping giant be preparing to unleash terror upon our unsuspecting world? Join us as we unveil the details behind the Yellowstone System Alert that has just announced the alarming growth of the massive dome-shaped uplift. Number 1. The geological legacy of Yellowstone. The Yellowstone National Park stands tall as a marvel of nature's beauty and a total head-scratcher for geologists. This place covers a whopping 2.2 million acres and is home to one of the planet's most mind-blowing volcanic systems. For millions of years, powerful geological forces have engaged in a sort of subterranean hide-and-seek beneath the park's surface. Now and then, however, they choose to display their magnificence dramatically. This supervolcano, closely monitored by the United States Geological Survey, resembles a dormant giant, holding the potential for worldwide disruption should it ever awaken. Here's the kicker. This beast hasn't thrown a super eruption in over 64,000 years. That's a whole lot of peace, but it's left behind a legacy of massive calderas. Think giant volcanic craters and resurgent domes, all formed from some seriously tragic events. Let's introduce a different perspective to the narrative by considering Joe Rogan, an individual renowned for his straightforward approach to current events. How does his viewpoint align with significant changes and the potential drama in Yellowstone? Envision him discussing these surprising geological transformations and their potential link to a volcanic eruption. To thoroughly understand this, let's delve into the core of the matter, the Yellowstone caldera. This immense depression, comparable to Earth expressing weariness, holds a key role in our exploration. This depression formed during the last of 3 super eruptions that shook things up over the past 2.1 million years. These weren't just your everyday eruptions. They were the kind that left a mark, not only on the park, but on the entire region. Geologists and scientists are still scratching their heads, trying to unravel the mysteries these eruptions left behind. The most recent eruption, about 631,000 years ago, was a real showstopper. It belched out a mind-boggling 1,000 cubic kilometers of material, covering a good chunk of North America in ash and messing with global climate patterns. But here's the kicker. Does the Earth just close the curtain after such a grand eruption? Not in Yellowstone's case. After the smoke cleared, the story continued with the formation of resurgent domes, a phenomenon as intriguing as it is significant. Picture this. After the last super eruption, the magma chamber beneath the caldera, once empty, decided to make a comeback. It started refilling, and that led to a surprise party in the geological world, the birth of resurgent domes. Now let's break down this resurgent dome thing. Imagine a massive underground balloon filling up with magma or molten rock. As this balloon expands, it's like the Earth saying, "I'm not done yet." It pushes up the ground above it, creating a dome shape. Picture it like a bubble forming in the dough as it bakes. The ground swells, forming these massive uplifts. Meet the stars of the show, the Sour Creek Dome and the Mallard Lake Dome. These aren't just small bumps in the landscape. They're colossal, each stretching over 10 kilometers in width and rising hundreds of meters above the caldera floor. It's like nature decided to flex its muscles, creating these awe-inspiring geological wonders. Number 2. The dynamic tales of Sour Creek and Mallard Lake Domes. Let's take a closer look at the Sour Creek and Mallard Lake Domes. They're like siblings who share some family traits, but have their own unique stories. The Sour Creek Dome, for example, decided to rise above the neighboring caldera rim before its upward journey came to a halt. Picture it as a giant mound that just kept growing until it couldn't stretch any further. Its surface, like a well-lived life, is marked by numerous faults. Think of these as cracks that form when the dome pushes against the surrounding rock. These faults are like the wrinkles on the face of the Earth, telling the tale of intense forces at play. Shifting our focus to the Mallard Lake Dome, this sibling not only experienced an early uplift, but also had a significant resurgence about 170,000 years ago. It was like the dome's second wind, marked by the eruption of the Mallard Lake rhyolite flow, which added a fresh layer of rock to most of the dome's surface. This eruption didn't just make a splash, it increased the dome's volume. So, while the Sour Creek Dome decided to rise and take a break, the Mallard Lake Dome went through a bit of a makeover, adding a new chapter to its geological history. These domes are more than just simple hills. They're complex geological features with a dynamic history, each telling its tale of ups and downs, faults and resurgences. It's like they have their personalities, shaped by the forces that have sculpted the Yellowstone landscape over time. Nature truly is an artist with a flair for the dramatic. These resurgent domes are more than just impressive geological formations. They hold the key to understanding Yellowstone National Park's geothermal activity today and the potential for future volcanic events. These domes are like nature's breadcrumbs, guiding us through the mysteries hidden beneath the park's serene exterior. When we observe the uplift and deformation of the caldera floor, courtesy of these domes, it's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain. It tells us that the Yellowstone volcanic system isn't just taking a nap. It's a restless giant, waking up and reshaping the very ground we casually stroll upon. Beneath the park's tranquil facade lies a dynamo of geological activity, constantly at work. But hold on, this initial revelation is just the beginning. It's like the opening act before the main event, a seismic shockwave of discovery that has the potential to reshape our understanding of the Earth's dynamics. These resurgent domes aren't just geological wonders, they're storytellers, narrating the ongoing saga of Yellowstone's underground drama. It's as if the Earth itself is whispering secrets through these formations, inviting us to unravel the mysteries it holds. Get ready for a geological roller coaster because the story is far from over. It's an ever-unfolding narrative of the restless giant beneath Yellowstone's serene surface. Number 3. Joe Rogan's stark warnings and geological realities. Now, Joe Rogan, the well-known commentator and podcaster, has been sounding the alarm bells about the Yellowstone supervolcano in his discussions.
The Yellowstone supervolcano, it's a caldera volcano. Like they didn't realize that it was so big until somewhere in like the 2000s, I think it was. They did satellite imagery and they realized, oh my God.
It's not just casual chit-chat. Rogan's discussions are vivid and stark warnings about the potentially catastrophic impact of this giant that's currently catching some sleep. In one of his episodes, Rogan doesn't sugarcoat it. He suggests that the Yellowstone supervolcano might already be stretching its legs, so to speak. Wrap your head around that for a moment. The thought that this colossal force of nature could be on the move is downright terrifying. Rogan takes the time to break down the real threat of supervolcanoes, specifically Yellowstone, in a way that's both simple and profound. He unravels the complexities of geological phenomena into insights that hit home with urgency and concern. It's like a wake-up call, reminding us of the immense power beneath our feet and the potential for a scenario that could not only reshape regional landscapes, but have global consequences. And here's the thing, Rogan doesn't shy away from laying out his concerns. He explicitly warns about the eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano. His words are a plea to understand and respect the forces of nature, which, although often silent, have the potential to unleash devastation on an almost unimaginable scale. It's a perspective that thrusts the conversation about Yellowstone and its hidden dangers into the spotlight, emphasizing the need for awareness and preparedness in the face of such a colossal natural threat. Rogan's serious warnings about the Yellowstone supervolcano eruption are getting a solid nod from recent scientific discoveries. These findings are like a magnifying glass on the mysteries of the Yellowstone caldera, and they're turning up the volume on the urgency of Rogan's concerns. Picture this. Scientists have recently uncovered a dome-shaped uplift within the Yellowstone volcano system. It's a revelation that doesn't just tweak our understanding of dormant volcanoes. It unleashes a storm of questions about what lies beneath. This discovery, brought to light by the keen observations of Dr. Robert Christensen and the University of Utah's Robert Smith, emerged from a curious change in water levels at Yellowstone Lake. Now here's where it gets fascinating. In an Inside USGS documentary,
I was one of a group of people who started working in Yellowstone in 1965. And the impetus for this was that Yellowstone had really not had a comprehensive geologic study.
Bob Smith was captivated by some subtle yet significant transformations happening in the Yellowstone caldera. He noticed that the water levels in different parts of Yellowstone Lake weren't playing by the rules. They varied. This wasn't a casual fluctuation. It was like the entire lake basin was tilting, akin to a seesaw. Now, you might not catch this while enjoying a stroll by the lake, but for a geologist, it's a glaring signal that the ground beneath isn't as stable as it appears. This tilting wasn't just a minor hiccup in nature's routine. It was a big, flashing sign of a significant geological shift beneath the tranquil waters. It's like Mother Nature decided to give us a sneak peek behind the scenes. And it turns out, the stage is not as steady as we once thought. The discovery of this dome-shaped uplift is like a geological plot twist, adding more layers to the already complex narrative of Yellowstone, and of course, raising the stakes when it comes to understanding and preparing for potential volcanic activity. Number 4. Yellowstone's dynamic landscape in motion. Let's paint a picture for a moment. Imagine you're holding a shallow pan filled with water. Now, if you tilt the pan just a bit, the water level changes. It's higher on one side and lower on the other. Now think about Yellowstone Lake. Something similar was going on there. The water levels were playing a bit of a tilt-a-whirl game, suggesting that something profound and forceful was pushing up from below, disrupting the ground and in turn, the water above. This disturbance didn't stay hidden for long. It revealed itself as a dome-shaped uplift, a spectacular rise of the ground, as described by Dr. Christensen. Now this uplift could be the result of magma, that molten rock beneath the Earth's surface, pushing its way up into the crust. Alternatively, it might be the doing of the park's hydrothermal system, a network of hot water and steam expanding and nudging the ground upward. Both scenarios point to a lively and evolving magmatic system below Yellowstone. It's not taking a nap. It's stirring, reshaping the landscape in ways that can suddenly become visible. Now, keeping an eye on these ground shenanigans at Yellowstone has come a long way over the years. We're talking modern techniques and advanced technology here. Scientists today use tools like GPS and NSAR, or interferometric synthetic aperture radar, to detect even the slightest movements. These methods are a big leap from the past and involve harnessing signals from satellites orbiting the Earth to meticulously track how the ground shifts, swells, or sinks. It's like putting the Earth under a watchful eye, making sure we catch any subtle signs of the ground's restlessness beneath Yellowstone's serene surface. Back in the day, when scientists were delving into the mysteries of Earth's shape and variations, geodesy was the go-to tool. Geodesy is like the detective branch of Earth science, dedicated to understanding our planet's form. The primary technique in the geodesist's toolkit was a meticulous method called leveling. Here's how it worked. Geodesists used a surveying instrument called a level and a pair of graduated staffs. They carefully measured the rise and fall of the ground by capturing elevation differences from one benchmark to the next. Picture it like creating a detailed topographic map of how the ground behaved over time. By repeating these measurements across a network of points throughout the park, scientists could essentially track the subtle movements of the Earth beneath Yellowstone's surface. It was a bit like connecting the dots to understand the larger picture of ground deformation. To keep things in check, subsequent surveys would be conducted to detect any changes in these elevations, acting as a sort of geological checkup for Yellowstone. As time marched on, the inaugural leveling survey conducted in Yellowstone way back in 1923 left an enduring legacy, with some original benchmarks still standing tall today, a testament to the durability of scientific endeavors. With over 500 benchmarks dotting Yellowstone National Park, subsequent surveys prompted by the 1975 magnitude 6.1 Yellowstone Park earthquake revealed something astonishing. The heart of the caldera, that geological hotspot, had surged upwards by more than 28 inches since 1923. That's an average rate of 1.4 centimeters per year, which is no small feat. This substantial uplift wasn't solely the aftermath of the earthquake. It signaled that the ground itself was swelling, rising at a pace quicker than most plants grow. When scientists mapped the changes in the ground level at Yellowstone between 1923 and 1975 to 77, they stumbled upon a striking revelation. The ground had risen most dramatically between two key areas known as the Mallard Lake and Sour Creek Resurgent Domes, near iconic landmarks like Old Faithful and Lard's Rapids. To picture this, imagine a trampoline sagging under weight and then gradually returning to its original shape as the weight is lifted. It's akin to how the ground at Yellowstone was rising. From 1983 onwards, scientists kept a vigilant eye on these changes, noticing that this rising of the ground, called uplift, persisted until 1985. But in 1985, things took a turn. An earthquake swarm near the northwest edge of the caldera triggered a shift. The gradually rising ground started to sink back down, a process known as subsidence. Scientists eventually surmised that fluids, like magma or hot water and steam, building up pressure beneath the surface, began to leak out, easing the pressure and causing the ground to rise. Number 5. The sudden appearance of the Hidden Falls Fissure. Starting in 1995, the behavior of the caldera floor became even more perplexing. Some parts of the floor began to rise anew, while others continued to descend. A fresh zone of uplift emerged, experiencing rates of rise unprecedented in the region's recorded history. Amidst this geological turmoil, scientists observed a troubling connection between these erratic movements of the Earth and the swarms of earthquakes shaking the area. It became evident that these tremors and shifts were not isolated events, but interconnected pieces of a larger, more menacing pattern. The caldera's fluctuating surface mirrored the deep, unseen forces at work beneath, including the relentless migration of magma and the shifting of tectonic plates, all hinting at the immense power lurking within the heart of Yellowstone. It's like a geological thriller, with each ground movement revealing a chapter in the dynamic and unpredictable narrative of this iconic landscape. In the vast wilderness of Yellowstone Park, on what seemed like an ordinary day, guides near the Hidden Falls in Grand Teton National Park stumbled upon something quite extraordinary. It was a shocking revelation. A gigantic crack, standing about 100 feet high and stretching over 300 feet long, had seemingly appeared overnight, carving its way through a rock wall in the Teton area. Now, this wasn't your run-of-the-mill crack. It was a dramatic and sudden fissure that demanded attention. But what on earth could have caused such a dramatic event in an area that's well-traveled and closely monitored? And what does the appearance of this colossal crack mean for a place situated next to the sleeping giant, the Yellowstone supervolcano, now aptly known as the Hidden Falls Fissure? The discovery of this crack sent a shiver of apprehension through both the scientific community and the public. It served as a shocking reminder of the unpredictability of nature, especially in a region known for its geological wonders. It's like nature decided to throw in a plot twist, leaving everyone with more questions than answers. The Teton area, though not directly situated on top of Yellowstone's magma chambers, is intimately connected to the larger Yellowstone system. It's an area familiar with the Earth's restless movements. Discovering fissures in such a volatile landscape may be alarming, but it's not entirely unexpected. However, The proximity of the Hidden Falls fissure to the massive Yellowstone volcano has elevated concerns to a new level. The implications of this crack go beyond its sudden appearance. It serves as a sinister reminder of the deep geological processes perpetually at work beneath our feet. The fissure is a product of the ongoing tectonic activity in the region, where the Earth's crustal movement exerts immense stress on the rock, leading to fractures and ominous cracks. This event underscores the dynamic nature of the Earth's crust, especially in a region as geologically active as Yellowstone. It showcases the sheer unpredictability of nature, reminding us that beneath the serene landscapes and breathtaking beauty, powerful forces are in constant motion. The Hidden Falls fissure is not just a crack in the rock, it's a visual representation of the Earth's ongoing transformation. The looming possibility of a Yellowstone supervolcano eruption is a significant and downright terrifying concern, given the ongoing geological activity. Although the supervolcano's last eruption was around 630,000 years ago, the real question isn't if it will erupt again, but when. The colossal magma chamber beneath Yellowstone, composed of molten rock and stretching to significant depths beneath the surface, stands as a testament to the sheer power and scale of the volcanic forces at play. The potential consequences of a Yellowstone volcanic eruption are nothing short of catastrophic. While there's no need to incite panic, grasping the gravity of such an event is essential. It would have far-reaching impacts, not just in the immediate vicinity, but potentially on a global scale. Number 6. The global impact of a Yellowstone supervolcano. Yellowstone National Park is perched atop a massive supervolcano, one of the largest and most perilous in the world. Scientists estimate that when this volcano decides to erupt again, it will unleash a devastating force unlike anything witnessed in modern times. Picture this. The eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano would result in the expulsion of colossal volumes of ash into the atmosphere. Now, this isn't the soft, fluffy material you might associate with fireplace ashes. It's more like fine, abrasive sand. As it falls from the sky, it would blanket the landscape, covering everything in its path with a thick layer. The immediate impact of this volcanic ash, or ashfall, would be a logistical nightmare. Roads, railways, and airports would be shut down, making transportation nearly impossible. People in the affected areas would need to shelter indoors to avoid inhaling the abrasive ash, which can cause respiratory problems and damage machinery. But the consequences of ashfall go beyond inconvenience. It can lead to the collapse of roofs under the weight of the accumulated ash, disrupting power supplies and causing structural damage to buildings. Additionally, it can contaminate water sources, making them unsafe to drink and causing further hardships for affected communities. While the ash clouds may be the most visible aspect of a Yellowstone eruption, the gases released during such an event could be equally, if not more, dangerous. One of the primary gases released is sulfur dioxide. When SO2 reacts with water vapor in the atmosphere, it forms sulfuric acid aerosols, which can fall to the earth as acid rain. This acid rain can have devastating effects on the environment. It can acidify water bodies, damaging aquatic ecosystems and affecting drinking water quality. It can also harm vegetation, corrode buildings and infrastructure, and pose serious health risks to both humans and wildlife. So, the potential eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano isn't just a spectacular natural event. It holds the potential for widespread and severe consequences that would impact both the immediate surroundings and beyond. Now, let's delve into one of the most immediate and alarming consequences that would accompany a Yellowstone eruption: the onset of a volcanic winter. Picture this. Massive amounts of ash and gases are violently hurled into the atmosphere, birthing a dense cloud that could effectively block sunlight for months or even years. This sudden and prolonged reduction in sunlight would trigger a global catastrophe, a volcanic winter. The repercussions of a volcanic winter are nothing short of apocalyptic. Global temperatures would nosedive, leading to crop failures, food shortages, and widespread famine. Our modern society, heavily reliant on agriculture and global food supply chains, would face unprecedented challenges. Human populations would grapple not only with securing food, but also with staying warm and maintaining basic living conditions. Adding a layer of mystery to this potential disaster is the unpredictable nature of a Yellowstone eruption. While Yellowstone is one of the most closely monitored volcanoes globally, with the United States Geological Survey keeping a vigilant eye on any unusual activity, the geological forces at play are complex. Signs of an impending eruption can be subtle and elusive. Tremors and ground movements affectionately referred to as Yellowstone being Yellowstone are monitored, but the lead-up to an eruption might be shorter than initially thought. Recent research has suggested that the warning signs before a Yellowstone eruption could be briefer than previously believed. This raises serious questions about our ability to respond effectively in the face of such an impending catastrophe. Evacuation plans, resource allocation, and disaster preparedness would be compressed into a tighter time frame, adding an extra layer of intrigue and urgency to the situation. It poses the unsettling question: could we potentially remain unaware of the volcano's imminent eruption until it's too late to take action? The unpredictability of nature adds a gripping element of suspense to this geological tale. Number 7. Unraveling the legacy of Yellowstone's past eruptions. The geological history of Yellowstone is a fascinating journey through time, marked by a series of spectacular volcanic eruptions that have shaped the landscape we see today. The first major eruption, known as the Huckleberry Ridge Tuff, occurred around 2.1 million years ago. This event was a precursor to the more massive supereruptions that would follow, but was still a significant geological event in its own right. Imagine the Earth rumbling and spewing molten rock, creating a massive expanse of ash and debris. This was the Huckleberry Ridge Tuff eruption, a colossal event that left a lasting mark on the Yellowstone region. Despite being dwarfed by later eruptions, it played a crucial role in setting the stage for the geological wonders that would unfold over the millennia. Approximately 1.3 million years ago, after a period of relative calm, Yellowstone experienced a series of smaller eruptions, one of which was the Mesa Falls Tuff eruption. Although not as colossal as its predecessor, this event continued to contribute to the geological evolution of the Yellowstone caldera. The landscape was gradually being shaped by the relentless forces beneath the Earth's surface, paving the way for what would become one of the most iconic national parks in the world. The most recent and significant eruption at Yellowstone occurred approximately 640,000 years ago, giving rise to the Lava Creek Tuff. This eruption was a supereruption, a term used to describe an eruption that releases an extraordinary volume of volcanic material. To put it into perspective, the Lava Creek Tuff eruption was estimated to be around 1,000 times larger than the notable 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Picture the landscape blanketed in thick layers of ash as the Earth roared in a display of raw, elemental power. The aftermath of the Lava Creek Tuff eruption was a geological marvel. The creation of the Yellowstone caldera, this massive crater measuring about 30 miles wide, resulted from the collapse of the volcanic structure. Despite its size, the caldera is not always visible. Hidden beneath the dense cover of forests, geothermal features, and the tranquil expanse of Yellowstone Lake. It serves as a silent testament to the colossal forces that once reshaped the region. In the aftermath of the supereruption, Yellowstone experienced a shift in its geological dynamics. While the cataclysmic events that led to the formation of the Lava Creek Tuff were awe-inspiring, the subsequent eruptions and geothermal activities have been less significant in scale. The region has witnessed numerous smaller eruptions, contributing to the ever-evolving landscape, but none have matched the sheer magnitude of the supereruption that defined Yellowstone's geological history. These historical eruptions were significant not only in their scale, but also in the variety of volcanic phenomena they unleashed. The expelled roly lava flowed across the caldera, filling it with layer upon layer of molten rock that slowly cooled and solidified. These flows were often accompanied by massive ash clouds and pyroclastic materials, settling over a wide area and significantly altering the topography of the region. The impact of these eruptions on the landscape was profound. The once rugged terrain was smoothed over by the thick, viscous rhyolite lava, creating a more uniform and expansive surface. Over time, erosion and other natural processes sculpted this new terrain, giving rise to valleys, canyons, and other geological features that grace Yellowstone today. Yellowstone's hydrothermal system, boasting geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles, owes its existence to the heat from cooling lava. Delving into the journey of magma, originating in the Earth's mantle, we explore its pivotal role in the aftermath of Yellowstone caldera's massive eruption. The emptied magma chamber gradually refilled, driven by Earth's core heat and geological processes. Rising through the crust, magma accumulates beneath the caldera, exerting upward pressure on the rock above, akin to a pot's lid. In Yellowstone, this pressure results in a gradual uplift, not explosive release. Sour Creek and Mallard Lake domes, likely weakened zones from past volcanic activity, become focal points for this upward force. Magma intrusion causes the ground to swell, forming resurgent domes, a testament to the ongoing interaction between Earth's molten core and its surface. Number 8. Understanding viscosity in Yellowstone's magma. Let's unravel the mystery of why magma doesn't always result in an eruption. The key lies in the magma and the surrounding rock. Not all magma is created equal, and its composition can significantly influence its behavior. In Yellowstone, the magma is often rhyolitic, a type that's quite viscous. Viscosity refers to how slowly magma flows and its ability to trap gases. Picture it like thick molasses compared to runny water. This high viscosity can lead to explosive eruptions when the pressure within the magma becomes too great. However, here's the interesting twist. If the magma finds a way to release this pressure gradually, such as by lifting the ground above it, it might not erupt. It's like a controlled release valve preventing a volcanic explosion. But that's not the whole story. The rock above the magma chamber also plays a crucial role. If it's strong and flexible enough to bend without breaking, it can form a dome rather than fracturing and allowing an eruption. Imagine it as the lid on that boiling pot of water being sturdy enough to handle the steam without bursting open. So it's this delicate dance between the properties of the magma and the resilience of the overlying rock that determines whether we get a peaceful dome uplift or a fiery volcanic eruption. Nature's way of keeping us on our toes and showing the intricate balance at play beneath the Earth's surface in places like Yellowstone. The relationship between volcanic activity and dome uplift is a complex and multifaceted dance. On one hand, the rising domes serve as a clear signal of magmatic activity beneath the Earth's surface. It's like nature's way of waving a flag, indicating that magma is accumulating and the volcanic system is in action. This uplift can trigger increased seismic activity as the ground adjusts to shifting pressures, and it can also reshape the hydrothermal system, creating new pathways for water and gases to reach the surface. These changes are all interconnected, influencing each other in an ongoing feedback loop. On the flip side, the uplift of these domes can also act as a safety valve for the volcanic system. It provides a gradual release for the pressure building up from the magma, potentially preventing more explosive volcanic activity. This doesn't mean an eruption couldn't happen, but the uplift of the domes might be a crucial factor in determining how and when it occurs. Monitoring the rate and extent of this uplift becomes paramount. It's like keeping a close eye on the vital signs of the Earth, understanding the current state of the volcanic system and predicting its future behavior. By doing so, scientists can piece together the intricate puzzle of Yellowstone's volcanic activity, allowing us to better grasp the risks and potential outcomes associated with this dynamic natural phenomenon. The Earth, in its geological choreography, continues to reveal its mysteries, and our task is to observe and understand the dance unfolding beneath our feet. Kindly share your insights regarding the recent occurrences at Yellowstone.